Hello everyone, CEO of ThemeZoom.com. My name is Russell Wright. We just covered the academic aspects of the slippery slope method based on the diagram that I've given to you for free and that I'm sharing with you on the whiteboard. It has to do with the irresistible offer, but more importantly, I gave you some academic overviews of the neurocognitive science of neuromarketing and why I designed it in the slippery slope method. For those of you who don't know me, I have revealed other videos, including our video series called Unmapping the Web. It talks about the future of the future and why it's becoming more and more important that what you offer your clients is congruent with the process of marketing and leading them down the slippery slope through their own cognitive bias. I also introduced in the previous video how mistakes were made but not by me is the original science behind cognitive dissonance, which is a huge piece of all persuasion tactics, including Cialdini's persuasion and influence. A lot of these methods of sales that have been regurgitated through the years online by internet marketers are very simple and can actually be reduced to a single type of cognitive blind spot. This is part of the book that I'm working on right now called Your Phantom Body, which is about all of your cognitive blind spots. But all of them can literally be summarized by one major operational blind spot called cognitive dissonance. This is why I'm so passionate about that kind of work. Now, what I've shown you in The Web is Dead and Unmapping the Web is it's more important than ever because of social media to remain congruent through the entire process of your touchstone. This is why Mark Joyner's work on the irresistible offer and the several days that it might take you to create your touchstone should be done before you do anything else. I would almost go far as to say, just if you don't have a touchstone put together, just go out of business. A touchstone is not your USP. It's not your slogan. It is not a statement of fact. It is not an elevator pitch. It is not a headline. There's a lot of things that it's not. But what it is it's comprised of your touchstone, it's comprised of what you're offering, and it's comprised of a high ROI offer. Okay? Now, here's what it is. A touchstone, which takes the most amount of time to create, and Sue and I do direct people on how to do that, and as consultants we actually charge exorbitant amounts of money for that. A touchstone is based on four things. Okay? What are you selling? How much does it cost? What's in it for me? And why should I believe you? Okay? You have to try to get at least 2 out of 4 of those questions answered in under 5 seconds. Now, Mark Joyner actually says 3 seconds. Some examples of touchstones, which are more commodity-driven touchstones, are, for example, Domino's Pizza. You know, your pizza in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. Before they got sued and that slogan couldn't be used anymore, that touchstone couldn't be used anymore. You know it's pizza, you know what's in it for you, pizza, and in under 30 minutes, why should I believe you? Because it's really hard to doubt an offer like that, because if they're going to offer that to everybody and they don't deliver on it, they'll be out of business. There's all kinds of loaded language and loaded aspects of that. That's 3 out of 4. Making an offer like that requires a killer product. It requires that you can actually deliver on it. Coming up with the touchstone is beyond the scope of this video, but this is one of the things that Sue and I really want SEOs, online strategists, and even SEOs and SEMs to be trained before they begin the complex technical aspects of building a website, especially a website that uses website silo architecture. It is not a USP. A USP is a positioning in the market, or a distinction used in sales copy in the past, which included a headline. It is really not a USP. It is a 3 to 5 second or less distinguishment of yourself in the market with a very clear offer, quo quid pro, an exchange. You're leading with the exchange and it distinguishes everybody else. You're not gaming them, you're just making an offer. Now, you can make an offer that's semi-good to be true. You don't want to go too good to be true, but the context of that too good to be true offer will be followed with a second look, either immediately or later on, for believability. Another amazing offer that was a touchstone was 10 CDs for 1 penny. Columbia House Records, I think it was. That's a huge offer, and the big brand recognition helped calm the disbelief of such an offer so that people went into the second look for believability, and they dug deeper. And what they found in that offer is that even though you did have to buy a minimum of a certain, you had to join the club and pay $13 to $20 a CD after you got your 10, but the loaded up dopamine of that free 10 discs on the front end, loading it up on the front end, they scientifically researched this, it lessened the impact of the long-term commitment because you could cancel at any time. What they found is that the people who canceled was far less than the people that stayed on, and they got their money back with that loaded up offer. As Sue Bell pointed out to me, that's very similar to the model of the lifetime value of the customer. If you know the lifetime value of the customer on average, how much money and how long your customer will stay in, how much they spend, you can immediately then take that information and determine how much you can afford to buy a customer for and how much you can load into your marketing part of the company. If you know your LTV, you know exactly how much you can pay to acquire a customer. And if you know that and your competition doesn't, your competition is going to be put out of business because they're going to see you spending $20,000 on campaigns they only have $2,000 in, because you know that that money is worth it, because you can guarantee like clockwork how much a customer is going to be worth. This is an example of why when you make your offer, you need to know all this stuff. The second look, they're going to be looking for preeminence. They're going to be determining, okay, 10 CDs for a penny, is that really real? They're going to look around and see other users' experience. Back then when that offer was around, they didn't have it. Now they do have it. You can look for blogs with real people. You're trying to find real social proof and real preeminence for that offer. Make sure it's not a scam. People go to scam sites. But more importantly, people just get a sense of your brand. If it's a specific product or a specific offering or an internet marketing product or a CD, even if it's an attorney at law or a customer or a service, they're going to be looking to see what your reputation is in that marketplace. So that's the suspicion place. Once they get past the suspicion, internet marketers are really good at getting past all the slippery slope as quickly as possible. Not necessarily offering a killer product, especially with ClickBank and stuff like that. I've seen some terrible and atrocious products that do really good through all of this phase. The third look is, I want to believe, just like the X-Files. You've moved past the point of suspicion, you're kind of teetering on the edge. Then there's what Sue calls the willing suspension of disbelief. X-Files, they call it I want to believe, the Fox Mulder effect. Once you have them there, you just need to make sure that the offer, this is part of Mark Joyner's process, it's a high ROI offer. You got to make sure that what you're actually offering doesn't contradict or create cognitive dissonance. Okay, mistakes were made, but not by me. Make sure it doesn't contradict the impact of the marketing and what you've offered up front. If there's a huge dissonance between what you're really offering or a bait and switch, don't ever do that. You lose them, and they're going to tell all of their friends about how bad you suck. Okay, so that user experience up to that point, make sure that you really are offering 10 CDs for a penny. Of course, Columbia House did it. They did the math. They figured out that the return on investment was going to be huge. Lots of people made off with 10 CDs for a penny and maybe one CD they paid for. But for the people that actually stayed on board, it made all of that initial cost worthwhile. Lifetime value of the customer. So make sure there's no cognitive dissonance in what you're offering to what you promised. Otherwise, you lose everybody, you're going to be out of business. A lot of internet marketing products have that kind of problem. Now, when do they finally make an action and buy? When do you get that cha-ching, that dollar bill? It depends on whether you're selling a vitamin or a painkiller. Please see Sue Bell and please see our document, the $4 million market research questions. If you're selling a painkiller, the time to money is going to be faster, meaning gotta have it now, painkiller. If it's a vitamin, time to market is going to go on the David Allen someday maybe file when it comes to getting things done, the GTD system. If you end up in somebody's someday maybe file, you're also going to end up in the shredder 90% of the time within a 2-month period. Make sure that if you are selling a vitamin, you can couch it in an offer that doesn't create a dissonance between what you've offered or creates false scarcity, which everyone's very suspicious of. Make sure you're offering them something realistic that can't be passed up, or even try to change your vitamin into a painkiller environment, or create so much pleasure for them that the intensity of the pleasure is a painkiller. Transaction is going to happen faster the more you can move. This is called the transactional velocity, from the I want to believe phase to the transaction, when they swipe that card, type it into your computer, and that money goes into your bank account. Now, after 4 and 5, you still haven't created an evangelist. If the experience they have sucks, or they find that the product breaks, or it's cheap, or it doesn't deliver, or the software breaks, whatever, you're not going to create evangelists. They're going to go, Sue's got a different funnel of this that we're giving away only at Theme Zoom certification. It's going to go over into another bucket, which is the you suck bucket. Okay? And they're going to tell people that virally through their own, people get rid of cognitive dissonance through distributed cognition. Distributed cognition is something David Allen taught me about from getting things done. People write about it. They write stuff down to vent it, to unload the dissonance. When you have a horrible experience and you haven't fully committed to that brand, you want to get out of that bad experience. And part of the way that you release that stress or that trauma is by telling everybody you know how bad the experience sucked. If you get them all the way to this line, they buy it, they love it, the product is killer, and they're enjoying it, and you've delivered on every one of these processes. You've removed the friction from the slippery slope, especially here at the transaction and the product experience and the customer service and the follow-up, and oh my God, every single business process from marketing, operations, finance, and legal. Everything. It takes a lot of energy and clarity to run a business. Then you've created an evangelist. Okay? And as long as you maintain your consistency, integrity as a company, you're going to tap their bank account for life. And we can show you how to do it. It's not magic, it is a science. It's the science of the mind, but it's also the science of business and business execution. Part of it's software, part of it's personnel, part of it's staff, part of it's outsourcing, part of it's the quality of the brand, the design, and the brand integration. But a lot of it is the quality of your product. Russell Wright from themezoom.com. I'll see you at certification this year.